Welcome, Gapsters, and thank you so very much for joining us in this CloudFest 2024. It's great to have you all here. Today, we have Oscar Poveda, who is going to present the topic AWS AI Services. Oscar is a solutions architect focused on transitioning and on transforming applications, for valued customers. He collaborates closely with clients to analyze their current infrastructure and craft innovative solutions that align with the latest technological advancements while fulfilling their unique requirements. So without further ado, Oscar, the stage is yours. I believe you are muted right now, so remember to unmute.
Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Oh,
you.
okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much. Interesting topic. As as Camila mentioned, well, I've been a guy for over 5 years. I'm working as a solution architect in the modernized business unit. Well, so today the whole idea is basically to go through to have a general overview of the AWS AI services. There are a lot of them out there, but the whole idea is to present like the most known ones and the ones that we can, start using right away with, not so much knowledge on AI and all that. All right. So, okay, this is how our agenda will look like, which is basically taking a look about on an AI architecture based on a case which will be and we're gonna also go through use cases from Amazon where they are actually using all of these services and some of the initiatives from AWS. Their partnership with NVIDIA and something that they call the AI Ready commitment. All right, so let's get it started. Okay, first thing first. First of all, just to um, have, there are a lot of concepts out there about artificial intelligence. So, and I know that we have already in our academy a course regarding this, but the whole idea, let's put it this way. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, it's basically referring to computer systems capable of emulating human intelligence through a set of rules based on, on math and decision making. And most of our AI applications are based on machine learning, right? Like recognizing or extrapolating patterns in the data. Examples of this type of task that we can find out there today, it's basically like recognizing objects in an image, read out loud, parse the meaning of a sentence, and so on. And actually, part of the second part of this tribe day will be going very deep into recognizing objects in an image, and this will be delivered by Sergio in well, they have already all the knowledge around this, right? So they already have pre-trained AI services. And what's the advantage of using these services? It's basically that we don't have to create the models, which is usually one of the most complex tasks in these type of topics. And most important, the models that will be able to use are already currently used by Amazon, which means that they've been already very, very well trained and they are very accurate when delivering results. And the other advantage is that in the AWS context, we are going to be able to create pipelines in which all of the advantages of these AI services that Amazon give us. One thing to say and one thing to mention as part of my research regarding this is probably if you are working with a very specific topic, these models might not be enough to work with. So probably you'll need to work on your own models for your specific use case. But as a starting point, this is perfect. Ah, okay. Give me a second, please. Just putting another
Yes.
microphone in here. All right.
Oscar, I believe maybe if you can turn your camera off because the audio is sometimes like getting lost, and I think that
All
could.
right. All right. I'll put it off. Okay. There you go, Camilo.
Mhm. Perfect.
There's a lot of user-generated content out there. Millions of communities with different topics that they want to share, that they want to discuss. So there's a huge data out there that we need to handle in some way or another. And at the same time, all of these communities expect a safe and inclusive experiences with the content they share. So that means that we need to moderate their content. How? This is where we have AWS AI services in here to help us. So basically, content moderation is the answer to ensure a better workflow, right? So the whole idea is that in order to ensure that experience for our communities and their users is using AI services that can help us provide that, that safeness in this, okay? And how? In a scalable way. Okay, let's look at this diagram. So first of all, this is how general, AI architecture will look like for content moderation. So there are different layers in this. The first layer, of course, is the ingestion. And in here, there are many services that might come along. It can be the API gateway, CloudFront, Kinesis, and Amplify, whatever. So basically, this is where we get all the data from. We got the layer of integration. So basically is where we can add some lambdas, we can add some events, we can have a queue, we can have a step functions, whatever you want to. And right after this, here comes the layer where we can, use the AI services provided by AWS. So we got some of them, like for image and video manipulation, we can have transcribe, we can have translate, comprehend, and recognition. For audio, we have transcribe, translate, and comprehend. And then for text and document instruction, we have like text track, translate, and
Oscar,
moderated. Tell me, Camilo.
sorry, we lost you there for a second when you
Okay,
like just now. If you could
okay, okay.
repeat like that last part.
Sure, sure. So I was talking basically on this fourth layer that we have in here, the one in green, which is basically how can we take the content from our users, apply some rules, apply some AI services in order to basically, get a safe content from our users so that we can be able to share it with our communities. Right after that, all of this is integrated and tied to probably, I don't know, SageMaker, basically to have all our information there so that we can be able to query it in a safe way and in a fast manner. And finally, we have what we call, there's also a service from Amazon in which we can have some human okay, so this is probably a very generic architecture where we can use the AI services. Let's go a little bit more into, well, what does each service does? So we got Amazon Poly, which is basically translate the text to a speech. So let me share with you an example. Let me share that for you. All right. So basically, this is an example where they are taking text and it's going through, it's passed through the speech. So
I will read any text you type here.
there are different engines around it. We can have different voices. So, you have a great selection. If you want a male, like in this
Hi,
case.
my name is Gregory. I will read any text you type here.
And the tone that you want to put into that text can be also applied to this.
Hey, I am Gregory. Test my voice on longer content such as news articles, training materials, or marketing videos.
Right? So this is basically Poly text to speech. Let's go back to another. This other one is the other way around. It's transcribed, which is basically going from
Oscar, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. We lost you right before you started like describing transcribe.
Okay, I am about to show the video where we have transcribed, which I can tell again, basically is text, and that text is, going to speech. Okay, so here's an example. Give me a second. So here we have this text, deliver attachments to the, so let's see how it looks.
The liver attachments to the adrenal kidney were divided and the liver was reflected
You look at the text.
superiorly. The vena cava was identified. The main renal vein was identified. Coming superior to the main top of the kidney with clips and bovi. The harmonic scalpel was utilized superiorly and laterally. Posterior attachments were divided between clips, and once the whole adrenal was mobilized, the adrenal vein and one large adrenal artery were noted, doubling.
All right. So this is an example of how transcribe looks like. Here, go back. Then we have Amazon Lex, which is a conversational AI for chatbots. And this is a very interesting example because in here, they're gonna show in an application how can you reserve a room and basically go through payment, make the reservation with the hotel and all that integration. So this is how it looks.
Call in to the travel center.
Hello, and thank
He's basically making a phone call right to this service. So basically this service, what's running behind me is Lex, and he's basically handling all the conversation and doing transactions behind it. So there you can see.
you for contacting the travel center. I am a virtual assistant and can help you book a hotel or rental car. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I need to book a hotel room, please.
What city will you be staying in?
New York,
What day do you want to check in?
next Wednesday.
How
Oscar, I don't know if
22nd of March 2023 is $964. Shall I book?
Camilo?
no, sorry, I thought we lost you again, but never mind.
Okay, we are okay.
Book the reservation?
Yes, please.
Thanks. I have placed your reservation. Please let me know if you would like to book a car rental or another hotel.
Yeah, I need to rent a car.
All right. So basically, the whole service goes there from making the whole reservation, not only the hotel, but the car, whatever. And this is done through Amazon Lex. With Amazon Lex, there are already some certain rules for different business, but language block, which is the Amazon Translate, which is basically going through some language translation. So let me go there. Sure. So basically on your left, they are the service is detecting French, and we want it to go through to English. At the same time, just like with the other services that we this is how it will look if we are, using an API, what we'll get in there. So. And as I mentioned, all of this, the whole idea is to create a pipeline with the other services around it. So basically, we are using this translation. We can leave logs in CloudWatch. We can leave the whole translation in an S3 bucket that we want to check out later. So whatever. The whole idea is basically to tie all of the services around it. Not only that, in this example, it finds a table, so it's aware that it's a table, so it's able to translate it to whatever we want. So let's take a look at this one.
Extract has actually
Okay.
extracted out all of
So
this
in this case,
information that you see
employee
over here on the
application.
right? So the raw text is there, forms, then
So basically, you see this just, you print that application, you scan it, and there's the name, there's the address, and there are other, important data. So basically, what this service does is analyzing the document and extracting the most important information from.
can tell you what's the name of this person, right? Phone number, home address, etc. So there are some of these key fields that have been extracted out over here. If there's a table, which certainly there is, then again, these are the values that you can see in the table right here, right?
Yeah, this is basically his all the jobs that this person has been into. Very smooth and very useful. Okay. Any questions at this point? Camilo, are there any questions so far?
No, not so far. Not.
Okay, we're good. Okay, from here, we're all good? All good. Nice. Okay. Okay, so then we have this other one, which is Amazon Comprehend. And basically, it's not only like the other one, which is just extracting the data and put it in a nice format, whatever. But in this one is, and this example is very interesting because it's basically getting, the in this case. So let's look into that one.
We're going to click Analyze. So 83-year-old patient, the age is determined correctly. Erosions is the diagnosis, the blister is the diagnosis, and it refers to the gingival mucous membrane, which is the system organ or site. Now, both of those diagnoses refer to that organ. However, only the last
And something that I didn't mention, especially in these cases, this is not like the final statement that a doctor will provide, of course, right? This needs to go through the doctor and check whatever this tool gave, but at least gives an insight, a previous insight of what's going on with the patient. So it's very useful. It saves time. And well, this is not like a very nice case, for example, regarding this, but this is something that we are working in our modernized unit, which is basically in our unit, we are getting assessments, code from all over the world from our customers. And we're working right now tools in order to go through that. So these type of services are very useful for these cases. So that's something that later on we'll demo for you, but that's something that we're also working on as well. All right. So then those are like the most, sorry. The ones that I found like more interesting, like to look into a demo. There are lots more of services. There's also the one that I was telling you, Amazon Augmented, is basically the last step of the architecture that we saw in the very beginning, in which we take all the content, we run through all these services, we get all that data moderated, safe. Okay. Then there are other more specialized services. There's Amazon Kendra, which is basically imagine that you have a bunch of data, a bunch of documents, Excel, even PDFs, whatever, notes, and you want to run into more intelligent queries on that set of files or whatever. So this is where Amazon Kendra comes in, and actually what they use some machine learning algorithms to actually provide a proper answer for whatever you're asking in natural language. Then we have Amazon Personalized. Um, For us developers, of course, we have some AI services. So we have DevOps Guru, which is basically a machine learning to detect patterns or abnormal patterns in an architecture that we want to deploy in AWS. So it basically tells you if you have some security leaks or if you are not following some best practices. So basically, it helps you like to, before doing an actual release, give you some insights of, well, how well you are doing your architecture. In the case for the code, there's Code Whisperer, which is basically very similar to what we're using now at Gap, which is Copilot, which is, a code partner whenever we're doing. With it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we had a question from Didi, and she's asking about if we compare Code Whisperer against Copilot. Yeah, we did that process last year. We compared with 9 tools out there, right? Copilot, Code Whisperer. There was a third one which was really good. At that time, what we felt the one that delivered a better experience and was more accurate was Copilot, right? That was the one that, and we did that with a group of Gapsters in which we gave them a license for some months. Exercise different scenarios. And the one thing to keep in mind is these tools are evolving every day. So I'm talking about, that's why I'm telling, we did this last year. So probably the behavior of what we found out that year is, for example, Code Whisperer was very into the AWS environment, right? It was not very accurate and looking to other solutions rather than the ones that Amazon provided at that point. So we wanted to look like more like an agnostic tool that it can, deliver any type of, recommendation, no matter the technology that you're using. We also find, for example, cases where we were getting comments from the code. So we got actual code working along with comments. We didn't want that. It's why it was like the data was not like pure at that point. Services with regarding health is that they follow the HIPAA standards. HIPAA standards are the ones that basically save the patient's data anonymously and safe so that it's not shared with anyone. So this in particular is Health Lake, which is basically to store, transform, transact, and analyze health data. So this is like very specific into that topic, but it's been very useful and it's already out there. GPT, and all is basically a power assistant, right? Any questions? I hear. I think Camilo, do we have any question?
No, not so far.
No. Okay. Okay. Didi, go ahead. I'm not sure, but
we're comparing Amazon Q and Bedrock and basically Amazon Q is like a whole out-of-the-box package, so you can do it say for that's everything. Bedrock is sort of service and service that they have that you say for process. So the cost is less because you're not paying for the whole out-of-the-box as studio. You're going to be talking about that. We're using code for like project. So that's part of that. Not very good. So
okay.
yeah, well, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we have.
Okay. Thank you, Andres. Okay. Okay. Which is basically a service for automated video and image analysis. And we are gonna talk very into deep with that with Sergio. So it's after this, so stay there. Okay. So in GAU, which projects that we know so far? Probably there are more that the ones that I was able like to work closer are using all of these AI services. Well, Axiom is one of them. Basically, Axiom is a company dedicated to create audiences for certain markets. So basically, what they do in there is creating the actual models in there, and part of their tech stack is all of these open AI at that point, but they've been also, going through it. In this case, Amadeus is basically for, reserving hotel hospitality in general. So basically, they were looking for a chat that was able, like, to do like the example that I show you, right? Where you can basically just call and the service is, is able to handle a conversation and to actually do reservations, payments, and all of that. So I know that Amadeus is working on it. And internally, we are gonna have soon our chatbot, right? So this is part of our company products initiatives. And the whole idea what's the name of Joyce's pet, whatever. Very important information, of course, right? So that's where, this chatbot will come along and, bring all that information. So this is under development, and part of the tech stack that they are using is where the whole idea is to use a Slack for that. They're using Docker, and from AWS, they are using, ECR, which is basically for the Docker, S3, API Gateway, and Bedrock as well. Sorry? Yeah, this is,
So I can answer that one.
Yeah.
We will not be tracking the names of who's doing the question.
So that will be part of the job I will be doing, but of course, anonymously, right? Nobody will know who you are or whatever. Okay. Okay. So let's see. These are some examples that Amazon is already using to make to make life easier. So of course they are actively working on improving Alexa, and of course they are using in the back end all of these services. And the whole idea is to turn Alexa into a more human, to turn the experience into a more human one, right? So that's what they are using now. There, whenever we are buying on Amazon, all of the listings, all of what we get recommended is passed at the same time. They are trying to get like more engagement advertisements in the ad console, right? That is basically tied to your profile and to your history as a customer in their services in their store. The other thing that this one I didn't know is that whenever you buy a product from Amazon, you got all of and gives an insight of what most of the people is telling about that product. So that's something that they are working on right now, because I understand that you are not going to spend hours reading on how that product looked like in the store. So that's something that's interesting as well. And this one, I love this one because again, I suffer whenever I go to the drugstore and it's like you got the prescriptions, and sometimes reading that can be a little hard. So basically, there is some generative AI that they are working on in order to make those prescriptions easier to read, right? So I feel that that's a very good example of how all of these services can be very helpful to our day-to-day. We are back. Camilo, do you hear me?
Right now, I do, yes.
Yeah, what did you lose?
Basically, everything at the end of the previous, after you mentioned the highlights review on Amazon, that last part we didn't listen, and then the
Okay.
beginning
So
of the next one.
let me go that to this last one. So for the ones that are some generative AI service that will make prescriptions easier to read. So whenever you go to the drugstore, you get some some medication. Sometimes instructions are not that easy to read. So basically, they are working on a service in order like to basically follow step by step instructions, so that you can just basically take your medication, that it doesn't look that hard to read and whatever. Sometimes we need doctors, but sometimes whenever they give instruction, they're not the best at that. Anyway, okay, so yeah, let's keep moving with this other topic, and just like to share with you part of the alliances and the collaboration that AWS is doing with other, intelligence trend. I think that um, one of the companies that basically they are very happy with this is NVIDIA, because we are using the GPU, processors to handle all of this analysis. So NVIDIA have seen a new market in here. Now it's not only about video games. Now it's also about, giving a hand and, providing hardware to support these type of services, which are very, they demand a lot of processing in here. So what they are working right now, and part of this collaboration, is molecules, basically to understand how drug molecules interact with biological targets. So they are going into this topic. They're working very close to this so that they can, get better medication, they can try new stuff, and they can, um, deliver something, I think, that faster than what it used to be in terms of research and all of that. And well, supposedly this initiative will be capable of, a massive 414 exaflops of AI, which is basically 6 times more of what they thought before. So, well, now there this type of collaboration, all of the software from AWS with taking advantage of NVIDIA with their processors. And yeah, and this, they call it the AI ready commitment, which is basically providing training to, well, their target is to train around 2 million people in this year with AI courses. So basically they are delivering new AI courses along with scholarships for AWS, and also they are also collaborating with Code.org, which is basically designed to help students learn about AI. So they are also, giving support to the developer community in order to start playing with all of these services. So yeah, I think that's what I got. I don't know if there's any questions. Camilo?
Not so far, but guys, if you have any
Okay.
questions, you can raise your hand or maybe leave it in the chat, and I will read them to Oscar. Any questions or observations, maybe? Yeah, apparently not
Very
from
back.
this side. I don't know if over there you have any questions, Oscar, that you can.
Okay, no, we are good in here, but we'll share, of course, from my side. And I know that from the 70s, we got all of these machine learning algorithms and stuff, but
Oscar, I think we lost you there for a second. Again. Um, right, guys, I think we lost Oscar. I'm going to be sending you the feedback form. I know we had a lot of issues, technical issues in this meeting, but if you enjoyed like maybe the content, or if you have any other comment that you would like to leave for future reference, that would be great. Also, I want to thank Oscar. I don't know if he can currently hear me, but I want to thank Oscar for his patience and his work as well. And we have been just in the presence of an AWS solutions architect certified. So thank you so much, Oscar, for that. And if you have any other questions or messages that you would like to leave in the forum, just go ahead and do that. And that's it, guys. See you in the next event.